Hello everyone, welcome to Broccoli Master YouTube channel. In today's video we will learn how can you authenticate your React.js or Next.js framework with the help of Django REST Framework. And if you are new to this channel, please make sure that you have subscribed the channel. It will cost you nothing, but it will help me a lot for making a new video. So without wasting more time, let's begin it. This is our authentication forms, and we have made this form using a Next.js. In this form there is username and password for the login sections, and if the user want to register, then they simply go there, sign up, and in this sign up they will put the full name, username, and similarly email, date of birth, gender, and they will enter their password. Similarly, if the user forget their password, then they simply can click on the forget passwords, and through their email address they can easily forget their passwords. We will see all these steps in this project, so let's do it. So let's first open our VS Code. Here I am writing here cmd. After that, open the VS Code, and this is our VS Code. First we need to open the terminal. After that, let's write here Django admin start project, and I will give the name is as auth. Okay, so let's again close it, open the folder here, cmd code dot. Similarly, our VS Code will open again, and here we will create our app. So for it, let's write a code python -.py start app, and let's name it home. Okay, after that you will see here our home app is created, and this is our authentications project here. Okay, now we also need to install the home app in our settings.py file, so let's do it. In here we will define our home app. Okay, so that let's save it, and first let's create our virtual environment on it. So for it, write a command python -m of env. Click on the yes. It will take us some second. Yeah, it already created. Now let's activate the environment. So for it we need to write the code env scripts activate. After that our environment got activated. So in this environment we also need to install the Django and the Django REST frameworks. So let's do it first. Pip install Django and Django REST framework. Okay, so it will take a few seconds. Let it be done. So finally it got installed in our virtual environment. Now again we also need to define the URLs here. So let's define it, and here we will write include and define the path of our home. So let's write here, and place is include home.urls. Okay, so let's copy this all URLs, and we also need to create a URLs in our app. So let's get it here, urls.py. Sorry, we have missed here, so let's edit this. Okay, now let's paste it. Right now we don't need this URLs. Okay, so let's remove it and leave it as it is. Now let's run the server, python -.py run server. So here is you have 18 unapplied migration. So for it, let's migrate all the files. So python -.py make migration. For that, python -.py migrate. So it will migrate all the files. After that, again we need to run the server, python -.py run server. Okay, now let's check it, and finally our Django server is run here. And after that we need to create our models.py files for the database. Okay, so let's do it first. On the model files for the authentication, we will use Django built-in authentication systems. Okay, So let's get here model. So let's create a class user, and we'll take the abstract user. Okay, and by using the abstract user we can modify all the things that is necessary for us. We are actually using the Django built-in functions, and in the built-in function there is only the username, email, and the password. So if we need to customize that things, so with the help of this abstract users we will do manually. What we needed, just change it here. Okay, so let's do it here. After that we also need to import the abstract user. So let's import here. To write from django.contrib.auth.models import abstract user. Okay, so let's define it here. Username equal to models.char field, and let's take the maximum length 100. Okay, after that null is equal to true, blank also be true. Also need to take the email address, so let's define it here. Maximum length is equal to true, and we also need to define the DB index. Okay, so let's define it here as a true. Let's also create the authorize section. So here we write is authorize equal to models dot boolean field. Okay, and here default is equal to false. We are using this authorized sections because when the user create their account, then their account must be verified by the admin. So we are taking the boolean field here to default is equal to false, in which that it does not get verified. The admin need to manually define or verify their account. Okay, similarly there is also a full name section, I think. So let's define it here. Full name is equal to models dot char field, and let's take the maximum length equal to 100. Okay, and blank must be true, and there must be not a null value. Okay, similarly also need to create the date of birth equal to models dot date field, and take the null is equal to true and blank is equal to true. Okay, after that there is also a gender choice sections. Okay, so for it let's define here gender choices equal to let's define male is equal to male. After that female, and also define the other here. Okay, after that we also need to add the gender field here. So let's edit and enclose this in our bracket. Let's define it is here as a capital M, and female should be noted as a capital F, and the other should be represent as a capital O. Okay, so let's also define the function here df str return self dot username. Okay, so while making the authentication systems in a Django, we also need to define the tokens and reference tokens, and what's the needs of actual dash tokens we will further explain you, but for right now let's define it in our models. So let's define it here. Div tokens self and refresh equal to refresh token. Okay, for user self return, and access is equal to string, and here define the refresh dot access and write a token. Let's close our bracket here, and there is so much error is showing, so we also need to import our refresh token. So let's import here. For it we need to define here as okay, so we have not actually installed the REST framework simple JW tokens. Okay, so let's first install it. So first let's clear our terminal, and here you need to write this command for the installation of our JW token. Okay, so let's install it first, and finally it got installed. We also need to install the REST framework in our settings.py files, so I think I have not installed it, so let's do it first. So let's install here REST framework, and we also need to install the course header, so let's install it here. After that we also need to install this REST framework simple JW token. Okay, so let's save it, and in the below we also need to add these files. Okay, for the JW authentication. we write this code. Okay, and let's save it. So for right now we have done all the things. So now let's also define here and migrate all the files. Okay, so now let's migrate our models file here. So first clear it and write here python -.py make migration. So I think here is no model course header is notation. So let's first remove this here. Okay, from here we don't require right now. When we are going to connect the Django REST framework with our Next.js files, then we will do it there. Okay, so for right now let's remove it and let's clear our screen, make the migration. So basically this error is showing because we need to define the auth user model in our settings.py files. So let's do it here, and we also need to import the auth user model here. Okay, so let's do it, and here we need to define this code, and this is our app's name. Okay, whatever your app's name, let's define it here, and under that we need to define the .user. So let's again check it. So finally you can see here our migration file is done here. So let's also migrate this file. We might python -.py migrate. Okay, so it's again showing the error. Okay, so let's first what we do, let's delete this database here, and what the migration file we have made here, just remove it. This is our cache file that are stored in our migration file. So let's remove this and again let's try it. Okay, so let's make the migration first. After that again migrate the file. Okay, so finally we can see that our migration file is done here. After that we also need to define in our admin.py file. So let's register here our models. So for the register we need to import the models from the model file. Okay, from .models import all the model. Okay, and here write the admin.site.register user. Okay, we have registered it. Now let's run the server and checking it either the table is created there or not. Okay, so let's do it and open our server here. So this is our server and finally it is running well. Now let's check the admin here, and we also need to create the super user for the access of it. So let's do it here, and here we need to write the python -.py create super user. Okay, and this will need to define the admin. Okay, here email is also required, so let's write the admin@gmail.com and also import the password. Yes. Okay, and again run the server. Let's check it again, and here we'll define the admin. Let's enter our dashboard. So finally you can see that our home users is created already, and it is already created in our default authentication systems. So when the new user is registered, then it will appear here. Okay, so we are already done with that. Now also need to create a serializer. So let's create here serializers.py. Okay, so in the serializer we will create all the necessary steps, just like for the register, login, logout, and reset passwords, and we also need to define the token for the authentications. So let's do it manually, and when we are doing it you will understand it clearly. Okay, so let's define it here. For it let's import the serializer from our REST framework. So from REST framework import serializers, and we also need to import our users from the model, and also need to import the authentication. Okay, so from Django.contrib import auth. Now let's make the class here, class register serializers, and we need to define the serializers.model serializer. So let's define it here, password. So write the password here, password equal to serializers.char field, and write here maximum length equal to 100. Okay, after that we also need to define is the user is super user or staff user. So here we will write serializer dot, and for it we will choose boolean field, and in the boolean field there is only two options, either it is true or false. Okay, let's take it boolean field and let's take the default value equal to false. Similarly, we also need to define the staff here. So let's copy it here, and I will change the name from here. Okay, so let's define it here as staff. Is staff. Okay, and save it. Let's also define the class meta. Model should be user. Similarly, in the fields there must be these are all sections available, and here some field is missing, so let's define it manually here. The username, there must be also a full name, and there must be also a date of birth. Okay, after that there also be a gender. Okay, now we also need to define the function here. If the email and the username is same, then the account will not be registered on the same account. Okay, so let's define the function here. We will define the functions like here, define validate, and if the email and the username will be same, then it will throw the error. Okay, and similarly if the username is not same, then it will automatically get the username here. Okay, so let's save it, and here we define here def create user.object.create users. If the username and email, full name, all the data if not available in our database, then it will simply save all the data in our database. Okay, similarly we also need to create a login serializer. So for login serializer we need to define all the stops like here. Okay, I already have a code, so that I'm simply copy and paste because the video will be so long, that's why. And there is two error is showing authentication failed, so we also need to import this all library from our REST framework. So let's do it here. So let's import these two things and let's save it. Okay, and in the login serializer we are defining the password. Okay, now we need to write the password there, usernames, and when the username and password will match, then it will automatically create the token file here, and by using these functions the token will get generated. After that we have also defined the password, username, tokens in our meta class. Similarly we have defined the function class here. If it does not match, then there must show an invalid username, please try again, and if the password will not match, then it will show the error, invalid password, try again. Or if these both things are matched and admin have not verified their account, then their message should be shown like this. Okay, and if the admin will disable their account, then their message will display like this. Okay, so this is our basically functions that we defined it here. After that we have saved the return of email, username and tokens in their section. So let's also define the logout serializer here. Similarly in the logout serializer, the reference token is needed for the logout, because when we are going to log in, then their token is provided, and by using that tokens we get logout. So we will see the practical examples of it when we are finishing this serializer.py files and testing in our Django REST framework. Okay, so don't be worried about that. For right now, let it understand that when we get the logout, we need the refresh tokens. Okay, and we have defined this function here, validate functions. It will get the validation if the reference token is matched or not. If matched, then it will get logout. If does not, then it will show the error. Okay, validation error. So we have done with the register, login serializers, and similarly logout serializer. We also need to define the password reset function there. Okay, so let's define it here, and for it we will need to write this code. Okay, and we also need to import the get random strings. So let's import it first and let us save it. After that, let me explain how it's going to work. For the reset password we need email fields, and after getting the emails we need also to verify that email, either this email is available in our database or not. And if the user email is not found there, then it will rise the validation error, no user found with this email address. Okay, and if it is available, then it will get the save here. And for the resetting the password, the email will be sent into their Gmail account. After that, through the Gmail account they will verify it and get their new password. Okay, so these are the basic steps that we are going to dealing it. Now let's get the views.py file in our Django REST framework. Okay, so let's define it here. First we need to create a register API view, so let's create it here, and I'm creating this. We also need to import the generic and register serializer, so let's import it first. And similarly we also need to import the response, so let's import the response also here. After that there is also a register serializer. Okay, so let's import it, and here we will write the code from serializers import all the serializer. And in the register view serializers, we will register the serializer in our serializer class. Okay, and in the view sections we will take all the user data and check either the user is super user or the staff user, and after checking it, it will save all the data into a serializer.save file. So similarly we also need to create the login serializer, so let's do it. In the login serializer we need to define it later like this, and after that we need to save all the files here. Let's save it, and in the login serializer it will take the serializer from the login serializer, and if the user is authorized then it will successfully log in, and if the user is not verified by the admin then it will show the message like this. Okay, similarly if the user get verified then it will automatically generate the reference tokens like this. So these are the functions that is defined. If the user is authorized then it will get the tokens, and after that it will save the files in our database. Similarly we also need to define the logout view, so let's define it here. This is our logout view, and we have take the logout serializer from our serializer class. After that we have created the function here. If the user get logged out then it will successfully display the message like successfully logged out. Okay, so we also need to import the permission classes in our views, so let's import it first. So here we are importing this, and we actually don't require this, so let's remove it and let's save the file. Okay, and there is also allow any, so we also need to define it here, so let's import it. So from our REST frameworks, let's import the allow in here, and let's save it. So finally we have done with the register, login and logout sections. We also need to define the password reset part, so let's get the functions for the password reset here. And similarly for the password reset view, we need to write this all code here, and in this code we need to define and create the first. If the user has inputted their email address, then according to their email address first it will check in our database. If the email is available there, then it will provide a link in their email address. Okay, and after verifying their email address, then it must be open a new page. So for the opening the new page we also need to define one HTML file that we are going to link here for the testing purpose only. Okay, so here the send email sections we need to import here, so let's import these files. Let's import this all library that we are needed here and save it. So after that this email is verified and confirmed will make there, then it must be redirected to this page. Okay, and here we have created our template file named the password reset confirmation.html that we are going to create here. After that this form will open, and they will simply create their new passwords, and these all password were reset in our database, and it will simply display the password reset successfully message there. Okay, and after that it must be login, redirect to our login page. So we also need to import this HTTP 404 message redirect from our Django REST frameworks, so let's do it first. So here let's import the message from Django.contrib import message. Similarly from Django.contrib.cots import redirect. Similarly from Django.views.generic import detail view, and there must be a detailed view. Okay, after that from Django.http import HTTP 404, and let's save it. So finally we have done with the password reset section. So you don't worry about the code, I will provide this code in the description below. You can just go there and you will be redirected to the GitHub page. Just download it and practice it for the better understanding of it. Okay, so now let's save it, and we also need to define the token here that we have not defined here. So let's get the token class view here, and for the token we need to define the function like this, And here in the token login view, it is simply define it here that if the username is generated, then it will also get the tokens, and if that token is verified, then it will simply display the message here logged in successfully, and if it does not verify, then it will return the message here invalid token. Okay, so now for it, let's save it first. Similarly, in the URLs part, we also need to define the router here. So for the routers, I already defined it here, and we have created the register field here, in which if the user write the register, then it will open the register field. Similarly, in the login, logout, and we have also created the API token reference view. Similarly, if the user want to reset their password, then we have created the to field, in which it will send the email. After that, clicking that email, then confirmation page will be opened there. So for it, let's save it right now. And similarly, we have imported all the necessary views from our .views file. Okay, and we also imported the token refresh view from our REST frameworks. Now let's run the server here. For it, let's open the terminal first, and here we need to write a command. So actually we have activated environment on here. Okay, so let's kill the environment and again run the server, python -.py run server. Okay, so finally we have seen that here all the admin router is available, and when we want to register the user here, then we simply go on the register field. So simply write here register, and this form will be created here. On there we need to define the username, so let's define it here. I will take the broccoli. Okay, and let's write the full name broccoli master. After that we will take the username, so let's take it, and in the mail section mail. Similarly here define the broccoli@gmail.com. Similarly also need to write a password, so write as it is this stuff, and let's save it. After that we have seen that it got successfully saved in our database. So let's check it. Open our dashboard first, and here in the users you can see here the broccoli is available here. So let's click on it, and when the admin and click on the authorize, then it only get login to the login interface. Okay, and when the admin does not click on it, then they cannot be logged in there. Okay, so this is the functions that we have included here, and you can see here this is the full names and date of birth, mail, everything is stored in our database. So let's save it. Let's first log in here. Okay, so I will write a code here, login. After that we'll put the password broccoli@123, and our username is broccoli. So let's log in here, and you can simply see here there is a two tokens is available. One is refresh tokens and in another is access tokens. So by the use of this access tokens, we can easily access any of our dashboard, and this reference token helps you to refresh and provide you the token. Okay, if the access token get expired, then it will automatically get the another tokens from our refresh view. So in this way this token is working actually, and you will also understand it in a very clear way when we are going to deal it with our Next.js file. Okay, so similarly if the user want to log out, then similarly they simply take this reference tokens here in this way and copy these tokens, and when we visit in our logout section, and we need to give the reference token here. So let's give it and post. So you can clearly see here successful logout. So by the use of this refresh tokens, we are going to successfully log out, and for the logout we also need that types of tokens for the logout purpose. Okay, so this is our overview, and I think we already done with our Django REST framework part, and let's modify in our Next.js part. So let's do it first. So for it, let's get the folder here, and similarly let's rename this as a Frontend. Okay, and you will tick this on the backend sections, or similarly leave it, no problems. And I already imported all the files here, So let's open these files in our VS Code. Okay, so let's do it, and here we will write code dot, and it will open our VS Code here. And again we need to open the terminal. Okay, so now here we need to install the npm. So let's install it, npm install. So it will take us some second, so let it done first. So you don't worry about this all codes. I will provide this code in the descriptions. You can go there and check it out there. And after that, these installations we all need to run our dev. So we'll write npm run dev. Okay, then our terminal will be open here. Simply click on it, and it will take us some second for reload. After that, finally you can see here our page is reloaded here. Okay, so for the connections of this Next.js to our Django REST frameworks, we need to install the codes header. Okay, so for the installing of that, let's do it first. We again needs to open the VS Code of our Django REST frameworks. So let's open it, and in our settings.py files we need to change something there. So let's do it here in the settings. So I'm opening my another terminal here. On this terminal, let's first clear all the terminal, and after that I will first activate my environment. So let's do it. Activate got activated, and on this environment we will install their codes header. Okay, so by writing this command we simply get install the Django codes header here. So finally it got installed in our local environment. After that, we also need to install this codes headers in our settings.py file. So let's do it. So I have already commented it here, so let's uncomment this and save this. After that, in the middleware we also need to import the codes header. Let's import this. Okay, after that, and for storing the message we also need to write this message storage section. Similarly, for the connections with the Next.js, connection with Next.js, need to write this command. Okay, let's save it, and also need to define the default auto field here. Let's save this. We also need to import the auth user model. So let's save it also. And when we are rendering the email, so by using these functions, the email will be came to in our terminal. So for the testing purpose only, we are taking this email in our terminal. So when we are going to deploy the project, you will need to connect that email address with your server, and from that we need to modify our settings like this. Okay, and here we need to define all the host, email port number, use TLC, and many more things that is available in our server. And for that server you need to modify all of these stuffs. Okay, so let's save it. And again, we have not created here template files for the testing purpose, so let's do it and saving it. Now let's make the modification in our Next.js framework. So let's do it first. So I am switching my code here, and there is mainly two sections available in the Next.js file. So here in the public and in the source you will see two components. There is app and there are also a component. Okay, so in the login file we need to define all the login sections here. Similarly, in our login.txt page we need to define and take the route that we are using in our Django REST frameworks, and by using that API we simply got login from our Next.js file. So let's make the changes on it. So for it we need to write the command like this, and here this is our localhost login API. By using this API we are simply got login there. Okay, and it works similarly same that we are testing in our Django REST framework. Okay, and this is a necessary command that we have written here, so you can simply make the changes there. So as you are backend developer, you don't worry about this all the stuffs. You already have a frontend developer that will help you to do that. Okay, your main task is to make the API, and after that make the modification and what changes needed to make the changes on the frontend developer parts. Okay, similarly in the sign up page we already modified this and take the API of the register page, and from the frontend part we have displayed all the condition here. If the user get registered, then it will display the message here, register successfully. If not, then it will throw the error. Similarly, we have taken all the text field here in which the user can enter their full name and their username. Similarly, it will take the email, passport, date of birth, everything that is needed here, already defined it here. Okay, so similarly in the forget password, we have taken the API like a password reset, forget password. Okay, and through this the user can easily reset their password, and if the password reset is successfully, then it will print the message like this, and if not, then it will throw the error. Okay, so we have seen that there is a sign up, login, forget, and there is one also a logout. Okay, so for the logout, we have defined here in the page.tsx file. So here we are calling the logout API here, and by using this API, the user simply get login by using their token, access token. Okay, so it will take the reference token here, and by using that reference token, the user get successfully log on from that page. And this is a simple message that is returned when the user get login there. Okay, so this is the basic function that we have used here in the front end section. So for the more practice, you will simply download these all templates and practice as well as it. So let's check it as it is working or not. So for it, we need to start our server here. So for starting server, you simply write npm run dev. Okay, and similarly our localhost status. So let's check it here, and similarly you are seeing that our login page is available here, and we are taking our login file here. So we have taken there broccoli, and similarly we have write a password broccoli @123. Let's submit this. Okay, so finally you can see that our login function is working fine, and when we are going to click the logout, then it got successfully log out, and when we click it, then it automatically redirect to our login page. Okay, so if user got forget the password, then simply they can click on the forget passwords. They will get the email address here. So in the email address, they need to define their own email that they are registered by using that email address. So simply they are writing there broccoli@gmail.com. Okay, so let's open our console for checking it, and let's delete all the things and submit. So in the terminal, we are getting the error here, password reset is not found. So first let's make it correction why this error is showing there. So for it, let's check it here in the response field, and we are seeing that password reset. Okay, so here is showing password reset. Okay, so I think we have defined in the front-end part password reset. Okay, but in the backend there is all other things. So let's make the correction here. So we have made the simple mistake here while fetching the API from the Django REST frameworks. So we have finally made the corrections of it. After that, let's save this file and again check it. So let's open the server here. So after opening servers, I'm clicking on the forget password. After that, we need to define our email address that we got the registers by using that types of email address. Okay, so I'm writing my email address here, broccoli@gmail.com. Let's submit it and check our console. So in this console, you are seeing the message here, password reset, OTP confirmation link successfully. So actually it is saying that the link is sent to our terminals. So let's check the terminal first, and here you can see that this is our links. When you click on these links, then it will redirect to our password reset confirmation page. Okay, and here we will change our password. So simply I am writing broccoli@12345. Okay, and while clicking on the reset passwords, it will automatically redirect to our localhost 3000 page. And I have also made the changes on the Django REST Framework section. So let me show here, and here I have defined that while the password reset is successfully done, then it will automatically redirect to our this page. Okay, and we have also defined a template file here, templates password reset confirmation file. And after that, we also need to define in our settings.py file. Okay, so you need to install this template, this directory file, and you also need to define it here. Okay, So in this way. So this is for today, and I hope that you will understand about how can you connect or use your authentication systems with your React or Next.js framework. Okay, either you are using Next.js or React, both the function is working nearly same. So don't be worried about that things. And please make sure that if you have not subscribed our YouTube channels, please subscribe it. And on the next video we will see how can we make the transaction systems by using the Django REST framework. Till now, keep watching and keep coding. Thanks for watching the video.